I watched Fight Club over the weekend. I hadn't seen Fight. What's that?
First time seeing it?
Yeah, no.
Brad,
No, I'll tell you what.
Brad Pitt's in pretty good shape.
People don't remember what a bomb that was at the time, if you pardon the pun. I saw Fight Club in the theater. There were like 4 other people.
They released it at a weird time, and the trailer was not good.
No, it wasn't.
They did not, because I saw the trailer for Fight Club. I'm like, this doesn't interest me. And then when it went out on video, that's when I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is a great movie. This is a lot of fun.
It seemed to be literally the people who had read the book, and I didn't know that it had been a book. I was just like, oh, it looks cool. So I went to see Fight Club, and there were 4 or 5 other people in the theater. But I hadn't seen it in quite a while and love it. What?
That was another sexual awakening movie for me.
Tyler
Brad
Durden?
Pitt, Tyler Durden, when he's just wearing the rubber gloves, opens the door.
Well, it's funny
My
because to this
goodness.
day, Brad Pitt in Fight Club is kind of this exhibit A for a lot of these men's workout things. They're like, how do I get in Brad Pitt Fight Club shape? It's like, the guy was 32 when he did the movie, all right?
Yeah, but he's stayed in very good shape. He's
No, he's in
very
great
good
shape.
genetics.
Right.
Like Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, still pretty good.
Yes.
Still pretty good.
Yep, good shape.
I saw a movie called American Fiction last night.
With Jeffrey
starring
Wright.
Jeffrey Wright, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, that looks good. I was kind of explaining to my Gwen. We saw a commercial, and I was like, I'm going to see that. Gwen's like, what's that about? And I was kind of explaining it to her.
Highly recommend. And it's for what it's about an author that gets drunk and writes like a book is kind of a joke about he's a black author and he writes like a black book, like his
like a step and fetch it type thing, yeah.
And then it takes off, but there's a lot more to it.
Wait, what's this called?
American Fiction.
I just saw a preview for that.
It was great. It was funny.
I was like, that looks really good.
Touching and well written.
You saw an early screening of it, or it's streaming?
It's in theaters right now. I went and saw it in Crocker Park.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that wasn't out for another couple weeks.
No, it's out. It came out in December.
Yeah.
I think it did like the big cities first, and then it's starting to roll out because it's gonna be nominated for awards and stuff. It made it in time for award season.
I see.
But it was great. Yeah, I saw it at like a 10 p.m. showing, and I was worried because I was like, "Ooh, 10 p.m. showing. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stay awake for it." But I was in it. It was great.
It probably wasn't very packed though, right?
There's about 8 people there, which it was in the small theater, and me and Pants saw it, and a few other people, and it's dark humor. It's because about black people, and
Jesus.
but it was funny. Very good movie.
All right, I like Jeffrey Wright a lot.
Jeffrey Wright's great in it. Everybody's great in it.
Issa Rae.
Issa Rae's in it. She's very good in it. And it's just well done, well written, and very enjoyable. Who's the guy that was on that? Sterling K.
Brown.
Yeah, Sterling K. Brown is hysterical in it.
He's one of the voices in the new season of Invincible for people who watch that cartoon on Amazon Prime.
I need to catch up on that.
It's good. American Fiction. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
good.
I highly recommend.
Yeah.
I think that's one that universally all of us will enjoy.
Okay. Well, I think the guy that directed it mostly did episodes of The Good Place. I think this might be his first movie that he's directed.
I like that show, too.
Came from TV. I bailed on that show. That's another show that
I love that
I
show.
was with it for a minute, and then it just kind of trailed off. I was like, yeah. But I feel like I should go back.
You should go back and finish it because it has a pretty strong ending, and it's a show that is very funny but also dives deep into existentialism and just afterlife and what life means, and it's really good. My buddy Joe Mandy wrote on that show, and it's by the guy that plays Dwight's cousin. What's his name on The Office?
Oh, Mike
Mose.
Schur.
Yeah, Mike Schur. And he's a really, really smart guy. And Joe Mandy was talking about how him and some of the other writers were just these brilliant people that are really highly educated. And he's like, just felt very blessed to be in a room with people that are that smart, and then also give it that twinge of lowbrow humor that it needed.
It's unfair when somebody's really smart and really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point, you don't have to be good looking. You know, it's a three-legged stool. You can be smart and good looking. You can be funny and good looking. You can be smart and funny. Poundcake, what was the name of the Richard Simmons movie where Pauly Shore is going to play him? That was the other question I wanted to ask you after the sports break.
The Court Jester? Did I say gesture?
You did say gesture.
So
I wanted to make sure that's not what it was called because, Richard Simmons back in the day did Sweatin' to the Oldies, and so there were a lot of gestures. And so I just wanted to make sure that that's not what it's...
Now, I did do my research because I know I'm known for mispronouncing words, but like jester and gesture, when I looked it up on like the dictionary and I had it say it to me, it sounds the same. Like I don't know, just mistake.
Well, that's what trips a lot of people up is that words that sound similar but are not.
But I didn't want to say jester and be wrong, and then...
But they're also spelled differently.
I understand that. I did both, and they both sound the same.
Wait, why did you did both? Why?
Because I knew, I thought I was going to say gesture, and I didn't want to mispronounce it. So I looked up jester because I didn't know what a jester was.
Oh, you didn't know what a jester was?
No, I didn't know what a jester was.
I see.
So I was like the court jester, and then it said, a professional joker, a fool, whatever. And it has the little speaker next to it, and I hit the little speaker, and it said gesture.
I got to tell you, Pauly Shore as Richard Simmons is not the craziest thing I've ever heard.
It works. It looks great.
Yeah.
He campaigned for this on his Instagram a couple months ago, like over maybe the summer, fall.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was posting constantly like, hey, Hollywood, let me do this. I want to do this biopic. Cast me for this biopic. So I'm wondering if there was even a biopic in talks or if he...
Well, it's just a short film, I believe.
Well, and Pauly just wants to work. It's not like people are banging his door down. I think to him, he's like, we've got the same hair. That's where it begins and ends.
Well, no, he was wearing a wig, but like he looks good.
No, but Pauly has that short curly hair now that Richard Simmons had. I mean, people thought Richard Simmons was dead as of a couple of years ago because the guy went into his house and didn't come out. There's podcasts and a documentary. Where in the world is Richard Simmons?
You're all evil people.
Sorry, Milton Simmons. And he was like, I'm fine. People were like, I think his maid is holding him hostage. Just because people can't imagine that somebody famous isn't running around taking pictures of themselves all the time. And they were like, Richard Simmons had to poke his head out and go, I'm fine. I'm living by myself with my staff in Beverly Hills. Thank you for your concern. Please leave me alone. I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
He makes that much money?
He did.
He's been around for 60 years. Like, yeah. When I was a kid...
Run to the Oldies was huge.
I mean, in the 80s, between Jane Fonda's workout tape and Richard Simmons Sweating the Oldies, Richard Simmons, I don't know if it was a talk show or... I don't think it was a talk show. But it's
He had a show.
He had a show that my mom watched religiously.
I feel like my mom watched that too.
She probably
When did that come off the air?
But I don't remember the nature of it. Like, it couldn't have just been a full-on workout show because it was like on. I just remember my mom being like, "I got to watch Richard Simmons." That was how I knew Richard Simmons.
Richard
I was
Simmons?
like,
he hosted a talk show from 1980 to 84, focusing on personal health and fitness.
Oh,
So
maybe that's what it was.
I didn't.
But he was never like a fit dude. Like he.
But for
never...
then he was, because they would do the trick with Richard Simmons was they'd show before and after, and he was really fat. And he's like, look, I lost all this weight. And that was all these housefrows needed to see. And he'd come out in hot pants and he'd be wearing like iridescent leggings. And
he never had abs or like.
But it wasn't about that.
That's
it was
not what it was back then.
It was just about
losing weight,
losing some weight, in
And
moving
that
and
cardio.
having a fun time doing it. And like he was kind of the first guy that brought on body positivity.
Yes.
Because it wasn't about like having the best body. It was about loving your body.
He made it relatable for all those like women, like jazzercise and things like that. You know, all those like middle-aged women. I mean, I was 10 when that show was on, so my mom would have been 32, something like that, right? She was watching Richard Simmons.
man.
Loved it.
I want to see Richard Simmons.
Your mom's got a thing for gay guys.
Does she?
Well, like, it seems like some of her biggest, Barry Manilow
Yeah.
and Richard Simmons are her like tentpole people. It seems like Elton John you were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
That was Elton John.
Well, they're also very talented.
And
Just happen to be gay.
And in the right time frame, too.
Yeah.
I want to see Richard Simmons.
And my dad, of course, my dad was gay, Bill.
Obviously.
Did I not mention that?
I didn't know that. I thought he was super straight.
He
Like-
was?
Like he'd always tell everybody, like punch him in the arm and be like, I'm straight.
I'm so straight.
Wish there were more girls here.
Yep. Where's all the chicks?
Yeah. Ah, I'm just kidding. I got a wife.
Watch me lift this weight.
Mm-hmm.
What, Cody?
I said, I just want to see Richard Simmons boot up courtside with a bae. Like, you don't never see these super famous gay men. You never see what type of lover they have. Like, he's not living alone. He may be living with his staff, but he got a bae. He's got a concubine in there or something.
I don't know about that. The guy has never come out. For whatever reason,
Really?
Richard.
He's never publicly been
Nope.
like, I'm gay. He's like, you guys get it.
Nope. He
does,
he
I'm
turned
sure.
75 last summer, and I think he put out like a "Hey, don't worry, guys, I'm fine" kind of thing. But for whatever reason, Richard Simmons has never talked about that. So I think the dude is probably not a virgin, but I bet this guy hasn't had any sexual contact in 30 years. Richard, unless he's like, paying twinks to come by or something like that. But people can't keep secrets now. So if that were the case, there's no wonder he's hiding in his house. He would probably love that. He's probably desperate for human contact, but you can't have people in your house like that anymore because they'll TikTok you up or they'll Twitter you up or whatever. And he can't have that because he's never.
I don't know. They'll probably be embarrassed. Like, if he's getting like 20, 22, 23-year-old twinks, first of all, they don't even know who Richard Simmons is. They just think he's a rich old guy with a big house, and they're probably embarrassed. They're like, I'm just, escorting part-time to pay for UCLA or something,
I think all that
No
stuff
one
would come out if that's what was happening.
I don't know.
I mean, even in this modern era, it's pretty amazing that nobody had any information on Richard Simmons for like a decade. That's going full on Howard Hughes.
Well, like you said, if he has all the money and he has a staff,
Yes.
he can be like, anytime something comes up on Google, take it down. I want it all deleted.
Well, not even that. Just you're not going to find him in the grocery store because
That's
people are
what I
picking up
mean.
food for him. Yeah.
And even if somebody did like somehow snap a picture or something, he's probably got people monitoring
you can just
it.
make yourself disappear. How amazing is that? Now that is the dream.
Why would you want to?
Yeah. Why would you want to make yourself disappear?
I want the option to. Like,
you
know
have
what?
the option
You
right
got
now.
it. No. Not
You can
like
make
that.
yourself disappear. I can make you disappear
No.
tomorrow.
No, you can't. Like,
Yes, I can.
I'll still go out to the store and have to be out. I have to do things. I have to find another job or what have you. Like, whatever.
No,
This
I mean
guy-
from the thing that people pay attention to you for.
That's fine. But they would still see me in the store. They would still see me out and about. I'm still around. This
You
guy,
can hide in your house.
No, I can't.
Why?
Have stuff.
Have
'Cause I need
people
food.
have people pick it up for you.
I can't afford it. If I don't have a job, I have to go out in public and do some type of work.
Do that thing like Eddie Murphy on the bus in the white face on SNL in the 80s where he's on the bus. You just go out in white face. People wouldn't recognize
I
you.
think that is the ultimate flex. Like, you guys will never see me again. Don't worry about it. And he means it. He's staying in his house. He has his staff pick up his food. He got everything you could possibly want, and probably in a huge mansion. Where does he live? In Beverly
Hills.
A huge mansion.
But you'd still get bored. I mean, this guy he doesn't have a podcast. He's not, this cat
you don't know
hasn't.
what his house looks like. He probably got a movie theater. He probably gets all the movies before they even come out.
Right, but here's what I'm
And-
saying. Very, very rich people practically went insane during COVID because they were in their house all day long. And you'd see these people posting going, I know I sound like an a-hole saying this, but I'm going insane.
But those weren't people that were retired. He's been retired for a very long time. So he's gotten over the fact that he has nothing. You can garden, bitch. You can, like...
You can guard, bitch.
His staff.
That's the only hoe he's got in his house is gardening.
I'm saying his staff probably has family. They're like, you guys want to go over and play games with Richard Simmons? And they're like, hell yeah, we'll do like the virtual reality. He's probably in the metaverse. You don't know what he has in his house to keep him entertained. He can do whatever, and that's just a flex. Like, I don't have.
He
to
might
see
have
daylight ever
staff
again.
putting on shows for him. He's just
Right.
throwing money at them.
He has enough money to start
Like
a
in The
cult.
Watchmen with
Yeah.
the HBO series and the servants that he creates
Yeah.
act out his life.
But also the amazing thing is that you have to trust that your staff is not going to sneak a picture of you going to get the
He's
mail.
probably had these
or,
people for 30 years.
And he
Yeah.
would know who did it.
and they probably don't speak English. It's that language
Or he takes
barrier.
their phones.
Well,
Where he's like, you live here, you work here, you don't need a cell phone.
I mean, they're not hostages. I don't know that they live there. I don't know that they live there.
You probably have he's $60 million. You probably have a maid's quarters or something.
He might have one or two people who do everything for him.
Right.
I'm just saying, big picture, it's fascinating.
He also,
They got to the point where people thought this guy might be dead.
but he also might have just combed his hair different or got a haircut and can go out in public and people don't notice him.
He got fat again.
Well, if he got fat, he doesn't dye his hair. He cuts his hair short and isn't wearing
Wears full pants.
short shorts. You're not going to recognize the dude in public.
Yeah. Richard Simmons breaks silence on 75th birthday with rare statement. This was last July. His rep told Entertainment Tonight, "This is a big milestone. I just want to see him happy," which he is. He hasn't been spotted outside of his mansion in Beverly Hills since 2017. His 1988 VHS tape, Sweatin' to the Oldies, was the biggest selling fitness home video of all time, grossing over $200 million.
Take that, Billy Blanks.
Wild.
But that was also, Tybo, but that was also like more than Jane Fonda. She
Yeah.
made a ton of money off those, what, Fonda size or Fonda yourself or I forget what they were called. But they're doing documentaries. What really happened to Richard Simmons? And he's like, this is what really happened. I'm in my house. I'm fine.
Just chilling.
Yeah,
I
I'm
got a
chilling.
mansion. I'm good. I'm playing racquetball.
I feel like that's the dream, though. You make enough money that you don't ever have to do anything.
I don't want to see any
I
of you
wanna
miserable
sit.
souls
I
ever
wanna sleep.
again.
Yeah.
Don't
But I mean,
call
he's
me.
from New Orleans, so it's not like he went home. He stayed in California.
Well,
So
that
that
became
shows
his
you-
homie was there so long.
I was gonna say that shows how rich he is because it's impossible to live in California. Even rich people leaving. He didn't lose his
Yeah, but he
house
probably
during
bought-
COVID.
Yeah, but he probably bought his house for
You
$230,000
still got
in.
those taxes in Beverly Hills? Are you?
Yeah, but
nuts?
if you buy your house
With cash,
with cash
In
in
1982.
the
Yeah.
82 and now it's worth
10 times as much.
$20 million. He's doing just fine.
The last time he spoke publicly was 2022. He said, "I'm living the life I have chosen."
See, that's great. I love that.
Good for him.
I want him to be booed up courtside with a bay. That's all I want for him. I know he has everything else, but there ain't nothing like rubbing it in people's faces when you get a hot 23, 24-year-old twink booed up courtside.
They said he hasn't left his house since 2017, but he hasn't been seen in public since 2014. 10 years of this guy.
But again,
No
I'm saying
pictures,
He can
no-
probably go out in public and be more anonymous than people understand.
But
Because he's
also
75
he
now.
Might have like horrible agoraphobia. His whole existence might be miserable. And he has to stay inside. Like, what about Bob? Where he's like, this is my safe place. This is where I can be. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm sailing. Yeah.
You know, like,
Wearing
get
a
him some
don't
baby
hassle me,
steps,
I'm
yeah.
local shirt.
He's probably one of those mean old men.
Just God bless him, because I just remember I remember my mom watching Richard Simmons. And from 5 minutes ago, I remember Mary's mom watching Richard Simmons.
But I don't remember that because then when I looked up the time, it was like 1980 to 1984. and
I'll
was not
remember
born.
it for you.
I was not born.
Maybe she had some episodes taped.
Maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Your mom was sweating to the oldies. That's how you were conceived.
Oh, come on, dude.
Uh,
What are you doing?
I'm going to break here. I want to get the last word in. Shoot me a text.